Today I'm going to discuss standards and conventions on websites and give both a good example of a website that uses standards and conventions and one that doesn't use the standards and conventions very well. And you'll see why we look at these examples, why it's important to actually use web standards and conventions. So first we're going to look at a site that could use some improvements, funnyjunk.com. So now obviously this site contains a lot of humor, but when you go to the site, it looks completely disorganized from the start. For starters, with a site like this that has as much content as this one obviously does, there's no search bar, which is an immediate no-go in my book, because if I'm looking for something or a subject other than the topics that they give me at the top here, I'd like to be able to search for something. Secondly, the links themselves are confusing. There's not a whole lot of links at the top, at least on the main bar, and when you do click one, there's no sublinks. And then you've got these links down here, which, I mean, they're separate links, but it looks like they go off the screen. And then there's even this X right here that when I do go to click on it, it automatically makes me think we're going to lose this channels bar forever. So we're not going to do that. But the navigation as a whole, it doesn't tell me where I'm at when I click a link. So I go to video games, and even though it says basically video games right here, it's not the same thing. So it's just confusing navigation without the breadcrumbs and even without telling you where you're at. If you scroll down the page a little bit, there's also a little bit more navigation with an About Us that you can't click, which is a no-go. But then even the Contact Us is here, which is not somewhere that you would normally look. Now the logo is also really tiny, which doesn't give me a lot of security that I'm at a really good site. At least when you do click it, it does take you back to the home page. And as you scroll all the way down, there's no sitemap here. And so overall, this is just a really good example of a site that doesn't use a lot of conventions or set the expectations that we're used to. Now we're going to look at a website that does use good standards, which is cracked.com. Also a site containing a lot of humor. Just at first glance, this site looks a lot better than the first site. It's much more organized. In the upper right, I see my icons here, which is nice. It shows where I can log in, which I would expect. A search bar here, which is what I would really missing on the first site. And then even links to social media right here. As well as them having a giant logo here makes me feel secure as I go through these different links, which are where I'd expect them, and the links follow you from page to page, which is nice. But as you do go through these links, it tells you where you're at, and then you can always click on that big logo, and it takes you right back to the home page. Also, as you scroll down to the bottom of this page, they actually have some more contact links here, which is where I would expect to see it in the footer. And they have a sitemap as well, which gives you a better idea of how to surf the site if you need that. It's just overall, this site is much more user-friendly, which is really all that matters. Thank you for your time.